Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. You know it is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What I mean by 4,000 watch hours, watch the videos from beginning to end, would be much appreciated, would help the channel grow. And if you've already subscribed, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds and my veteran subscribers. Thank you for all the love and support you've shown us on the channel. We do much appreciate it. And y'all don't forget to tell your family, your friends, your uncle, your aunts, your niece, you know the whole deal. Tell them come on down, subscribe, and watch some videos right here down on JJ's PC Builds. Guess what, everybody? It is now time to do graphics card nightmares right here on JJ's PC Builds. It's going to be a little bit interesting because I want to do a little bit of a dive in on a couple things, but you're just going to have to go along from the beginning to end, see what I'm going to be doing, and at the end I'm going to give you my conclusion of what I have done. Okay, now understand one thing about my videos. My videos are uncut, they're raw, they're just as is. So at the time that I record them, I post them. So basically, you're getting real-time, videos right here. I might add a little bit of commentary to them, like you'll see the little sign that pops up that says subscribe. Well, you know how that goes. This way, it's a reminder just to say, hit the subscribe button. It's free, just to let you know that. And don't forget about the bell. If you don't turn on the bell, you'll never get video updates or anything else, and YouTube will never tell you. Barely they even tell you about, looking at the videos as it is. Just a little thing before we get started with graphics card nightmares, I just want to say this. YouTube does not put out my videos like you all think. All my subscribers get the videos and they put it out to a couple more. And then they go a couple more and then a couple more. But if I get some positive likes on the videos, they'll spread it out even further. But if you watch the videos from beginning to end and put positive likes out there, they'll definitely spread the news. They'll show my videos more and more people will start joining, and then, we can start growing and getting up to the 1,000 mark, and then after that, we'll stretch to a new goal. So, and if you're wondering if we're going to have, do anything in the future, yes, we got plenty planned into the future, so don't worry your little head about it. We got plenty planned. Okay, so now we're going to get on the graphics card nightmares right here, you know where. So, also too, I changed the camera. I put the camera that I had over here, that had on the side, I put it right in front of me. So this way we can, do a little bit of more of sliding you in here and getting a little bit closer so you can see me better. So, and just to say, please watch the video from beginning to end. And if you're going to watch the video for the first 30 seconds, please subscribe. Okay, now we got all that out of the air. Let's go ahead and just get right into it and do a deep dive. And we're going to be going to Amazon. We're going to go to the action screen, do a deep dive. Oh lordy, they made the small screen even smaller. Here, let me blow that up for y'all. There. I changed the cameras. It changed the size and resolution of changed the resolution of the pictures and everything else. So, but we got it all straightened around, I hope. Okay, let's go ahead and open up DuckDuckGo. I'm still, with DuckDuckGo, just to let you know, they're a pretty good site. They got some good stuff in there and everything else. But, if you're a YouTube subscriber and everything else, that everybody's going to be telling you, hey, go over there to Google Chrome. Make sure you get your Google Chrome all up to date and everything else. So let's go ahead and just dive right into Amazon. Let's type it in. We go AMAZON, period. And we already got the site picked up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to hit this all button right here. We're going to hit computers. And then what I want to do is I want to take and look at the nvidia RTX 40 series. So this way I want to look and see what they have. Well, obviously if they followed directions it would be a lot better. You know, let me go ahead and just tighten it up a little bit. Let's see. Well, it looks like this. This is the confusing thing when you get consumers that want to go to these sites, you know, and they put in specifics to see what is what. This is what you get. You get nothing. Obviously, you get absolutely nothing. And they give you what you don't want to see, you know, other than what you want to see. So, obviously, from what it looks like, that's about pretty much all they have for the NVIDIA 40 series. So, let me go ahead and just type in that and see what we get. I'm taking you all along with me, so we'll go from there. So we'll just do that. We'll just do the RTX series and see what comes up. And then what we'll do is we'll do the AMD series and see what comes up. Okay, so basically we're trying to cut off a little bit of the lower versions, like the 10 series, you know, and hopefully we cut off some of the 20 series. But mostly we want to focus on the 30 and the 40 series right now. Okay, so right now the way it looks is that Amazon's pushing heavily the RTX 30 series 12 gigabytes. Reason is because they forgot to get their drink and their snacks, and make sure you all get them, and make sure y'all get them before they do. Sooner or later they're going to be cutting off the 10 series, the 20 series. Those are just going to be cut off. They're going to stop selling them. So then they're going to focus up on the 30 series, whatever's left. And then after that, they're just going to focus on the 40 series. So from what rumors has it told, that this is what they're going to be doing on Amazon. So just to let you know, if it comes up, that, you know, if they got something lingering in the background, like if they got some older series, you know, who's going to spend $4,040 for an A6000? Which is equal to, I bet you any money, it'd probably be equal to a 4090. Probably. Don't quote me on it. I'm just guesstimating. A lot of people were saying the 4000 series was more close to the 4090 or the 4080. So I would estimate the A6000 series should be closer. But to me, the A series is more or less like the Quadro series. And that's basically what we're not focused on. So it looks like the prices are starting to creep back up on some of that. And it looks like that the 3070, 8 gigabytes, look at that. 3070, the 70 series. Now, it's at 588. Not to foresay that all vendors are doing it at 588, but just to give you a look at what nvidia is doing, and that looks, and to me, that's a dark platinum. That looks interesting. But they're rebranding the box, and charging like almost $600, why pay for a 3070, which the RTX 4070 is at $599, and also too, you get more perks off of the 4070 than you would do the 3070. You get 12 gigabytes of VRAM on a 4070 compared to a 3070 8 gigabytes. Kind of look at it really carefully when you go to do these things. 3050, I mean, it's a good entry card, but for me, I wouldn't put my my house up on getting a 3050 for $267. 3090 is almost $1,600. You're best to either go and get yourself an RX 7900 XTX for that price, or you're best off to do, you're best off to, at this price right here, you're best off to just get the 4090, at $1,600 compared to the 3090. You get better benefits with the 4090, but you got to deal with the fires. So, but paying $1,600 for a 3090 when you can get the upgrade to the next gen 4090 makes this price point here doesn't make no sense to me. So, and even the A4000, paying $1,000 for the A4000 Ampere, it's a 4.0 X16 6 gigabyte GDR6 for $904. Okay, now why would I pay almost $1,000 for 16 gigabytes of ECC memory? Okay, now that's what they're stating. I wouldn't pay that, because for the simple fact, for close to that price, you can get the RX 7900 XTX probably for a better price than this right here, and plus you get 24 gigabytes of VRAM with AMD. So I really wouldn't pay that price. 3060 is $289. I did see some for $279, but right now, from what I see, it's probably the 3060 White Edition. But this right here is the Twin Edge OC 192-bit. 279. You got a white version. Let's see, 4070 Ti 848. Look at that, 4070 Ti 848. But if you want a higher power card, then you're best to go with the 7900 XTX. Getting it at 4070 Ti pricing? Really? Why would they go that far? To give that kind of price. I'd rather go with AMD at that point. I'm not knocking nvidia, but at that point, I can't see it. Okay, so the 3060 Ti 332, 3060 Ti 369. They're pushing the 3060s for some reason. Probably because they found out that somebody actually switched the VRAM on some of the I was watching a review on somebody actually taking an 8 gigabyte VRAM card and they added more memory to it and made it 16 gigabytes. It still runs at that same speed, but you get that extra 8 gigabytes of VRAM for an extra little boost. So, like the 4070, take that as an example. You probably can take it up to 12, go from 12 to 16. Since the 4070 Ti is what, 16? And the 4070 is 12? But guess what? Look at the dies. Same dies. One's just a little bit more cut down than the other one, but they're the same exact dies. So with that, in that node, and they're the same bus rate and everything else, except for the amount of cores, you kind of better think about it. Because if you could take it from 12 to 16 gigabytes of VRAM on a 4070 and just take it right up to 16 gigabytes on a 192-bit bus, guess what? You get a 4070 Ti. In some sense. As far as speed and everything else, it might not be the same unless you can find a way to tweak and clock it. That's it. That's if you're a hardcore enthusiast and you like to do that stuff hardcore and building, taking your graphics card and building within and then boosting it up. That's all upon you. Okay, I'm not telling you to do it or not do it, and I'm not suggesting it. I'm just saying, in layman's term, it can be done. Just to say, it can be done. Okay? Everything you do, even your motherboards or whatever, you can take and put a bigger VRM on your motherboards and make them handle a lot bigger graphics cards and so on. There's so many modifications you can do. If you're electronic savvy, then there's so many modifications you can do with your motherboard, your graphics card, Not your processor, you can't do much with that because that's pretty much on a set SKU. Could be in the future, there could be something that you could do to take and modify it. But anything that you modify, okay, from the original specs, they will not warranty it. So I will make that point clear. Once you breach that warranty point, even by overclocking or whatever else, you're on your own. The companies will not take back an RMA anything that you overclock, because they will know if you overclock the item, and or if you go to modify it in any way, shape, or form, you void your warranty. So do get that. I'm going to put that point clear now, so that way that's the disclaimer to let you know. Anything you modify and anything you try to overclock or anything else on the motherboard or the CPU or whatever, your GPU, whatever, they will consider that a void of warranty. So if they're very strict on their warranty policy, you better think twice. If you just want to run it as an everyday gamer, you don't care about anything else, you just want to game, then it's not really going to matter to you, pretty much. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on down the road. And this is not going to be a short video. This will be a long video, just to let you know. And if you don't have that much patience and you don't want to stay to the end, I really wish you would. This way, you get in, we can get, you can get all the points that I'm making about all these cards and all that's going on today from Amazon and so on. I just want you to see right now what's going on with Amazon, what you can do and not do, if there's good deals or there's bad deals. Is it a nightmare or is it not? And so far from what I'm seeing is there's quite a few nightmares. Okay, now the 3060 Ti for $369, I can't really see that. I can see that as... I can't see it as a starter card because of the price. Okay. Now, anything that's below $200, understand this. Anything that's below $200 is a starter card. That is that's an entry-level card to get you gaming and everything else. That's small and sleek and everything else. Now, they used to consider 4 gigabyte cards as the entry-level cards. Now, since everything's moved up, they consider 12 gigabytes as your entry-level card because of the amount of VRAM these games are using, these newer games. So now they put into consideration 12 gigabytes is your minimal specifications. You can use 8 gigabytes, and you can get away with 8 gigabytes, but that means you have to lower your settings for your graphics, and you might not get a really good gaming experience if you have to lower your graphics, but if you can put it all out there and and have it all running at high, and you got the a strong GPU and a strong motherboard, strong processor, speedy enough RAM on your for your motherboard, for your processor, then you got high end. So, is there high end gaming computers? Yes, there is. Now in the AM5 series, if you want to go to the AM5 series, that's a total different ball of wax compared to the AM4 series. Now, right now, what I'm still in is the AM4 series. Okay, I'm rocking the RTX 4070 on the Asus Strix B550-A. It's a white and black motherboard. It looks pretty awesome, and it's got heat sinks for the VRM, good coverage. It does not have Wi-Fi. I did not want Wi-Fi on this motherboard. Did not want it. Because I think with it being on there, it's going to eat up resources, and I really didn't want it. As far as RGB on the motherboard, that's really not my bag. I just have to worry about plugging in a fan for the heatsink for the processor. That's all I need plugged onto the motherboard. I don't need nothing else plugged onto the motherboard, which I did. And that's the reason why it come down to me getting this. This right here. This is a remote controller. This is a remote controller for the RGB on my fans. In my light strip. So I have full control of all that from this. So I'd rather have it on that. It's a lot easier. I don't have to fuss with going through the programs or anything else. And also, too, I can lighten up the computer as well. I don't need to worry about putting the lighting drivers on. I don't have to worry about putting, all this extra crap in the computer. It's just I can run the computer without the extra crap. I don't need to put the armory in there because I do everything manually to update the drivers. I don't need the armory to do that for me. And if there's any extra perks like the Game First 6, that it's an AI software for your network to boost up your network to get you more speed, I got that on there. And I got the AI Suite 3 if I want to do Windows application BIOS tweaks. I can do it right from Windows itself if I want to do it that way, or if I just want to be done with it, I don't have to turn it on. I can leave it off, and then I can set the BIOS up to where I have all the tweaks done in the BIOS, and I don't have to run any extra programs whatsoever. Okay, so I eliminated a lot of bloatware out of here because I don't need a lot of that extra crap. Okay, I don't really need it. Is because when I'm gaming, the last thing I do is I need anything in the background running. So that I eliminated a lot of bloatware from this computer. I'm still tearing through it, and I'm still going to get past it. But anyway, let's see where we got some more nightmares for you all. Alrighty, 3060. They keep pushing the 3060 out. 3060 Ti. 3050. Let's see. 3070 Ti. 659. 659. It's a gigabyte. But the one thing I don't like about it, the 3070 Ti, I don't know. 3070 Ti, 3080, it's like fine line right there. But it's only 8 gigabytes, so basically, am I going to use 8 gigabytes in the games I play? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe in the future when, when it comes to if I'm going to play those AAA games and stuff like that, them newer games and stuff, probably. By then, I'll probably have a stronger graphics card than the one I got now. I'm not knocking the one I got now. I love the one I got now. It does the job. That's the whole point. It does the job. Okay. Now the 30 Ti 12 gigabyte for $1,300. Okay. Now this is a nightmare to me. This looks like a Founders Edition. It's a titanium in black. It looks like a Founders Edition. So the thing is this: $1,300 for a 3080 Ti. Okay. Now for $599, you could be rocking the RTX 4070. Oh yeah, well the 3080 Ti's got a little bit more push, but the price to performance, is it really worth it? No, it's not. That's a nightmare in itself. This 3080 Ti, they should bring that down way below what the 4070 Ti or the 4070 is. This is way above. This is about rocking on the 40. This is rocking the same price as the 4070 Ti. I mean, this is last gen. Anything last gen, you should be knocking it at least half of the price off. Okay. All last gen products should be cut. They should be cutting the price half off. In my books. This way, at least, this gives the consumer a chance. They've already made, understand this, they've already made their money on these products. They're just re-releasing the same product because they keep making money on it. So, and even what I've been hearing too, a lot of these, these GPU technicians that get up on here on YouTube, they show the fixes and everything else, and I see a lot popping up as the 3080 and the 3080 Ti. I see a lot of that popping up too. So, is it really worth it? No, it's a nightmare to me. So, you got my answer on it. To me, I would not spend $1,300 on that. That is just totally crazy. Not even the 3070 TiOC. Okay, the TiOC. Well, I hate to tell you this, the 3070 TiOC, for $693, almost $700. Again, going back to what I told you guys, the middle card of it all is going to be the RTX 4070. That's the middle card of it all. That's the juice of it all. That's right down the middle of the whole line of the 40 series is the RTX 4070. That is the card everybody will end up running to sooner or later, which they're starting to now. That they're seeing that a lot is popping up on the 4070. I know these big reviewers are saying the 4070 is, kind of crappy and stuff like that, but I've been rocking it every day. Every day. I've been gaming on it every day. I have not had one problem with it whatsoever. My FPS has been out of this world. Okay? No micro stutters, no nothing. Awesome gameplay. Especially with AM4 series. Not AM5, AM4 series. I've been rocking. I've been having a great time with this PC. Even if my B450 motherboard was in there. And I hate to say this, but even if my B450 motherboard was in there, and I put the Ryzen 7 5700X with the B450 motherboard, it would still rock. Yeah, the PCIe would be down to 3.0x16 instead of 4.0x16, but it's still going to rock the same amount of bus and everything else. You ain't going to see but maybe 13 FPS difference, which I've already clocked the two. So I've only seen between 12 and 13 FPS difference between the B450 and the B550. So that would have been a really great test, to do maybe in the future. So I'll think about that one, and if I decide to do that test and get a test bench up, put the B450 on there and rock it up and see what the difference between the B450 and the B550 is. Truthfully, only difference I really see is the PCIe. Going from the B450 at 3.0x16 to the B550 at 4.0x16. That's the only real difference I've really seen. As far as the menu wise, they give you more control over the SoC on the B550 than they do the B450. You still get control of your SoC, but not in the sense of, on Windows itself. But you still get about almost this, you got pretty much almost the same controls as going from the B450 to the B550. They only got a couple little things in there that are more, but that's more or less like their version of overclocking and stuff like that, But it still's got the DHOCP, whatever you want to call it, XMP. It's still got the same XMP, and it's got all that in there. So I don't rock the pre-programmed XMP. I manually set my memory. Since I got 3200 megahertz, I set manually in the BIOS 3200 megahertz. Infinity Fabric, I set it at 1600 megahertz. It's always going to be 1/2 of the max of your memory. So if you got 3200 megahertz memory, you cut that in half, and that's your Infinity Fabric. That's how I remember to do this. Now the 3600, it'll be half of that, and that's your Infinity Fabric. Okay, so and truthfully, it only goes up like from 1600 to I think 1700, something like that. But there's not much difference between the 3600, the 3200, and the 3600 in my books. I even pulled the memory on the this Corsair memory up to 3400 megahertz to try it. And it started to kind of stutter a little bit right there. It's a fine line between 32 and 34. So basically, if they had a 3300 megahertz in the middle of 32 and 34, the 3300 megahertz would have ran fine. But to go up to 3400 megahertz is kind of cutting it a little loose. But anyway, let's get back to the nightmares. Okay, let's see. What else have we gotten rocking? Let's see. Alright, we went through a couple pages here just to give you an idea what the 40 series is looking like. So, not just the 40 series, whatever comes up that Amazon has for nvidia RTX, that's what came up. So I'm manually putting it in. Let's put in some AMD, and let's take out and see the similarities. And make sure we go down to here. You know what? I'm gonna leave that unchecked. I'm gonna leave that unchecked. And what we can do, we'll leave that unchecked, and we'll just go down the line. Now we got 6600 right here, 259, 260. Okay, maybe they got a cheaper price, and that's the 6600. It looks like everybody says the prices went down. They did go down, but it looks like they're kind of creeping back up again. just to let y'all know that the prices are starting to creep back up. And that's what it looks like. 219, this was at 199. Yep, prices are starting to creep back up, slowly but surely. Alrighty. Let's see, what else? 60. Why would you do a 6600 light for $281? That card's got to be a nightmare. Sapphire, shame on you. Shame on you with that card. 7900 XT, $800. Okay, it makes no sense to put the 99 cents. Just flat rate it and put $800 on it. That would make more sense. Just flat rate it. You know, 819. Jeez. 6950 XT, 684. Oh, looks like the prices are going back up on that too. So, I just wanted to give you guys a look at the difference between nvidia and AMD so we can get their prices, you know, broken down a little bit better. And from what I'm seeing right now, this right here, 108, that's a good starter card, but it does okay on gaming if you're running on medium to low settings. But as far as high to ultra settings, it's not recommended. It's a good 1080p card. 1440p might struggle, but you know, as you go along. 6800 XT, $618. Like I said, yeah, there's some games that, you know, that the 6800 XT did beat the RTX 4070, but there's only a couple, not all. Majority of them, the RTX 4070 did handle better. So, in my books, it handles great, as far as I can see. And I got first-hand testing on the RTX 4070. Right here, $200 and 67 cents. Let's see, $69.50, $629. So that's the second price I've seen it like that. All right, so 6600, 219, 108. I just want to make sure going to the second page it's not repeats. So, you know, in case they got something else they want to put out there. I mean, look at this. 6500 XT, OC. What is it, because it says OC that it makes it more? No. Look at this. 4 gigabytes of GDR6. $199. You think that's a budget card? That's 4 gigabytes. You're best off to go to the 580 or the 590. 6750, they got no price. That means it's not for sale. 2100, we don't worry about. 6650 XT, $279. It comes with Resident Evil 4. Now, you take a $50 game, compare it with a GPU, so that makes that down to $229. With the $50 game, makes it $279. So in actuality, you get a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of free gameplay, and the whole 900 yards. 6650 XT for, I'd say, $229. Not bad. 550, those are, no. 449, 6750 XT, 12 gigabyte GDR6. Yeah, it's under the 4070, but it's definitely going to be better than the 4060 Ti. And the 4060 Ti's, what, $400? And then you got this for $49.99 more. Price to performance, it's not there. I can tell you it's not there. But 12 gigabytes compared to an 8 gigabyte card, that might be something to consider. From the RTX 4060 Ti to the 6750. One's got 8 gigabytes, and this one's got 12 gigabytes. This one's $50 more. You get 4 gigabytes more. Wow, and plus you get a game with it. So you knock $50 off that. That's like what? $399, $389, somewhere in there. So you get a $50 game. Knock that off of your actual right there, and plus they give you 12 gigabytes of GDR6 for this. If you look at it in another perspective, you get it for the same price. And plus the 6750 is faster than the 4060 Ti. Wow. That is something to think about. And plus they give you more buying choices, probably 14 used right here, new offers. They got a $320 mark. But I would get the new one for the simple fact you get the game with it. But if you get used, you probably won't get the game. They're probably the used. What they do is they buy it new. They get the codes for the game. And then they take and they RMA the GPU and keep the game. I heard of that happening. I don't know if they'll make it stick or not, but I have heard of it happen. So 5500 XT 139, 139 4.0 X8, 8 gigabytes of GDR6, 128-bit bus, almost equal to. It's a good entry card. I can admit that it's a good entry card. 580, 256-bit bus, 105. Look at this. 580, 8 gigabyte, 256-bit bus. It's got 2048 SP cores, GDR5. It's $105. Decent entry. That's a decent entry card. So, 580, 8 gigabyte, same thing, $94. They got some cards out there, I'll tell you. The GTS, it seems like it's different from this. Seems like it's different. So, but, alright. Now we're going to move on to Newegg. Newegg. Okay. Now remind you, Amazon and Newegg does not sponsor the channel. I'm doing this. It's giving them a little bit of advertisement, but the thing is this: they don't sponsor me. Okay. Right now, our channel has no sponsors, which we would love to have sponsors in the future. We're trying to work towards, getting monetized, and after that, we get enough people, they'll recognize us, and they'll want to sponsor us. But they can't sponsor us if we don't have enough people. So we're working towards it. We're going to get there. Sooner or later, we will get there. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and just get into the graphics cards and see what's cooking. 1660 Super, 159 or 51 RISC. That doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't recommend the 3070, not at $400. The 2066 gigabytes at $209. I wouldn't recommend that. Not me. Not today. 3060 with 192-bit, 12 gigabyte, $325. see, now the 3060, they should have that price should be lower. I would go $249 with the 3060. Price to performance, that's more or less like a $250 card to me. So, because it's, I mean, you got the 4068 gigabytes, they got it at $300, $25 more. What are you going to do? You're going to go over here to the 12 gigabyte and, you're not going to get this one. You're going to look at this one. And it looks like they got a $20 promotional gift card with the purchase, limited offer, right here. By the time you see this, it'll probably still be up. They got a 5500 XT, $119, save 20%. We're going through very carefully. And I know right now we're at about the 46-minute limit, and we're on Newegg. So we're going to keep moving on down the road. 1660 Super, $159. This should be $99 by now. 4060, $329. Come on. I mean, really, Gigabyte? I can understand you want to make $30. I can understand that. You got to make a little bit because I know you got to eat too. So I can understand that. 4060 at $319. Well, what's the difference between the two? Oh, one's white and one's black. Okay. So they got a 3060 Ti for $409. Totally crazy. 309, 3080, $750. 4060, $300. There's your MSRP right there. $85 for a 580. Let's see. Moving down the road. 4070 Ti. 12 gigabytes. $1,000. $1,100. So that's not too bad. I mean, they brought it down one whole $100 from the $1,200 MSRP. Oh wow, 5600 XT, 6 gigabytes, 128. That's not too bad right there. Get a $5 promotional. 3070 Ti, $700. That's a nightmare. Look at this. 3070, $529. They're overpricing the 3060. The 3060. To me, I think they're overpricing it. 3070, they're overpricing it. Look at this. 7900 XTX for $1,050. Okay, that's $1,000 right there. That's not too bad compared to, the RTX 4080 being at its price and the RTX 4070 Ti being at its price. This one gives you 24 gigabytes of GDR6. So that's kind of hard to beat. I mean, that's kind of a hard card to beat right now. So 6700 XT for $309. Yeah, I can see that. And it comes with Resident Evil 4. I mean, moving on down the road. Let's see, is there anything worth talking about here? Now, we're looking at the same ones from, before. Right here, this is worth talking about. Looks like Gigabyte has the RX 6600 for $180. Looks like they only got 2 offers left. Hopefully y'all can get in on this. It's only $180. What else? Is there anything really worth talking about? See, that's the thing. When you're shopping to build your PC, okay, the hardest thing you got to do is pick out a graphics card, because you're not sure which graphics card to get, which one's the nightmare, which one's not. So, when you're always looking and you see these high prices, look at this. RTX 4070, $809. Ridiculous. They got this one right here, the GeForce RTX 4070. It's a gigabyte for $600. That's MSRP, and you get 3 fans. That's not bad neither. That right there, that's a better deal than I've seen in a while. With 3 fans, you get MSRP. This right here, I wouldn't touch it. Yeah. Alrighty. So, $670 for a 3090 24 gigabyte GDR6X. I mean, that's not a bad deal, but it's refurbished. If you get on the deal, it's a good steal. Moving on down the road. Let's go to eBay. And yes, I meant e-waste. I mean eBay. Get your e-waste from your e-waste dealer. Type in graphics card. I'm just going to go down the line, go through one line of this, and y'all can see it from here. So that way you can see what kind of pricing's going on this week. Okay, 3090 for the win, Ultra, $850. Let's see, 3060 12 gigabyte, $224. But that's used prices. Remember, if the seller allows you to have a 30-day money-back guarantee on eBay, then you get it. But if they tell you you can't, it's buy it now, pay now, done, buy as is, then you're going to wind up with something broken or something else, unless they can prove to you that it's a great deal and it's legit and everything else. If they can't, then, I wouldn't even buy it. 3080, 10 gigabyte, $389. Yeah, I can see it. 5700 XT, 8 gigabyte, $144. That's a deal. 5700, 8 gigabyte. It's refurbished, but you never know when they put refurbished on there. I mean, refurbished means that they could use the same the same GPU chip, processing chip, and then they just added all brand new, VRAM to it, and all the rest of the components are brand new. So they take the chip off, the main chip off one board, put it onto a new board, and then that's basically like a brand new computer or a brand new GPU. So, The only thing you have to worry about is them reballing the GPU and putting it to the new card. That's all you got to worry about. But if it runs on the get-go and you run it for 30 days and you have no problems, and I'm sure to see in the future you shouldn't have any problems. Just make sure within that 30 days you go within 15 days and you benchmark the hell out of that card. If you get them from eBay, you benchmark the hell out of that card to know if it's going to handle the stress. If it can't handle the stress and it starts artifacting and everything else on you, send it back. Tell eBay, it's not working for you. So you need to send the card back. And then you get your money back. Unless unless the seller sells you the card one time and then, just takes and discontinues their site, then there's nothing eBay can do. That's another thing you're stuck with. Another thing to worry about. That's one reason why, I bought off of eBay a couple times. I haven't had any problems, but I'm just giving you the positive and the negatives of what you're going to look forward to when it comes to eBay, so you're not going in blindly. And usually when everybody buys off eBay, they go in blindly. They put their credit card on the line, and they go in blind, not knowing what's going to be coming back in the return of what you're going to get in the mail. A friend of mine, one time, I'm going to tell you the story as we go down the road. A friend of mine got something from eBay, right? I think it was like a motherboard. It was supposed to be a really good motherboard, a B550 motherboard. It was supposed to be for $50. So he gets it for $50, and it's a B550 motherboard, but there's like several components missing from on top of the motherboard. Parts here and there were missing off of the motherboard. And he was like, "Oh my God." And he looked at the board. He said to me there was a few things missing. He says there's parts from the VRM missing. There was, parts of regulators for the fans missing and stuff like that. I said, "You're kidding, right? For $50? And he said, "Yeah." He asked me if it could be fixed. I told him, "Yeah. But you're going to pay double that amount trying to get the parts. So you're best off just get a brand new motherboard." That's what I told him. So I said to him, "You got a $50 7 or 8 pound e-waste board that you can use as a paperweight." And that's what I told him. You can use that as a paperweight. And that's exactly what he did. He cut the board into four pieces, like, 4 little squares, stacked it, zip tied it on both sides, and uses it as a paperweight, a $50 paperweight. So, that's his bag. You'll learn after that, when you buy something, know what you're buying. Okay, you don't want to buy something you're not going to be able to reuse or recover. So, and you're not guaranteed that they didn't take a piece or a part off of that item and sell you the rest. Get what they need and sell you the rest is basically what I've seen. I heard from another person too, to where they got a graphics card from somebody on eBay. They took the GPU chip off of it and sold you the rest. I guess that was like a 3070 Ti. They took off the GPU chip. They sold the board. No one noticed that, it didn't have a GPU chip on it. Nobody tested it. You got it. Oh, he got it all right. He plugged it in and didn't even work. How are you going to do anything without the GPU chip on it? He had to take a flashlight, look in there very carefully, just to see what was going on, and he realized there ain't no GPU chip on it. Got a hold of eBay, to get back with the seller to get a refund. Seller said bye. They closed out their account. So that, I'm not trying to scare you and tell you the risk or the rewards. There's a lot more rewards than there are risks. Just to let you know. But if you go to buy things, you best to see it up front working, and that's the best way to know it. Or if you know a technician that can work on it, and you can get it for a dirt cheap price, and you can get a technician to work on it for a dirt cheap price. Let's say you can put those two together, the technician with the GPU being, both of them being cheap. If you can keep it below $200, there you go. No matter what GPU it is, if you buy it broken off of eBay and it can be repaired, and you can keep it below $200 for both, no matter what it is. It can be any GPU. As long as it's, above 12 gigabytes of VRAM. It has its limitations, but you just don't want to get something that's broken, that has a burned up GPU processor. Then you're really screwed because you can't fix the card at all. You would have to get a whole GPU processor, and that's going to cost just 3/4 of the card right there. So it's not really worth it. You're best off just find another boo-boo card that where, either the VRMs blew up or something else blew up on the card, and have a donor card. Have a broken donor card, take the GPU off of that, put it on that good GPU, and then guess what? You got 2 in 1. Take 2 GPUs and make it into one. And I know we're over an hour, and I know we're over an hour. Just relax. We're going to get through this together. We're going to keep looking, so that way y'all can get an idea of the prices this week. I already told you it's going to be a little bit of a long video, and if you stayed here this far and you have subscribed to the channel, I want to thank you, and God bless you for being here. So, moving on down the road, let's see, anything else worth talking about here on eBay? See, even this right here, $258. I mean, it's 8 gigabytes. You can get this one right here for $244, but look at the shipping prices. If the seller, and I'm going to state this, if the seller sells you the GPU a certain price or best offer and free shipping, then that's going to be a good seller. That should be a good seller. I'm not saying is, should be. Okay. If they're giving, not charging you for shipping, then that should be a really good seller. In my opinion, that's what I would consider a good seller. Like this one right here for $104. Hopefully everything works on the card. 1660 Super, 6 gigabytes for $104. Buy it now, free shipping. That right there, that's a good deal. That is a good deal. That's not a nightmare. These little cards right here, these 2 gigabyte cards, these are little nightmares. These are nightmares now these days. Alrighty, so we're moving down the road. Okay. This right here, you can't trust to imagine that everything they got in this picture right here, you're going to be getting. Okay? So when they tell you when it's like that, you take a risk buying it. I can tell you that right now. I'm not going to risk my money on that. I would never risk anybody else's money on that. $400. Look at this. 4060 Ti, $400. They're selling MSRP. They're selling it brand new MSRP right here. And it doesn't make sense. Does not make sense at all. Okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And we're at the bottom. So, anything that's good. No. All right. Now we're going to move on to Micro Center. Okay. Now, one thing I'm going to say on Micro Center before we go on, they got the 5600 X 3D. Let's see what comes up. Okay. So, coming soon. Coming soon. It's on July the 7th. Available July the 7th, 2023. Micro Center at Tustin, California is going to have the AM4 series Ryzen 5 5600 X3D. This is an exclusive chip that's being produced by AMD for Micro Center to sell. They have a limited amount, limited amount, like maybe no more than 2,000. So if you want to get your hands on it, make sure you're down there on the gate, opening gate on July the 7th to get your hands on it. And there you go. So I'm putting that out there, Micro Center. I'm putting that out there for you. I know you didn't ask me to do it, but I'm putting it out there for you. Now let's get back to the graphics card nightmares. Let's type in graphics cards. Let's see. Available to ship. 4070 Ti for $839. That doesn't seem like a great deal to me. So, but you never know. Some people it might, and if it's close to them, then they're close to Micro Center, then I'm sure they're going to be looking. Okay. Look at this. Gigabyte RTX 4070. Still the same price. $599. That is MSRP, people. That's not above price. That is MSRP. So, I don't think that's a bad deal. I got one at MSRP. I'm very impressed with it. Mine's the dual, not the 3 fan. Mine's the 2 fan. I'm very impressed with it. What else? $649. They got the 6950 XT. They did have an $800 tag on it. $50 more than the RX 4070. You get the 6950 XT. 16 gigabytes. To me, it might perform. It does. I've seen in a couple reviews that it did perform better than the RTX 4070, but for the extra $50, I don't think that that 3 to 4%, or between 3. I don't think between 3 and 20%, that extra $50 is really price to performance. Now, if it was knocking $100 off from 3% up to, like, let's say 20%, yeah, it would be worth it. It would be worth its value. But from what I'm seeing right now, It's doesn't seem to be a great value unless you got a deep pocket and you say to yourself, I'm just going to get it. It's going to last me 2 years. That's going to be long enough for me to skip a generation until the next generation comes out, and go from there. Some people do that. They'll buy the older cards, skip a generation because they don't like the way it looks, and then go to the next one. But what happens if you don't like the next one? That's something you need to keep in your mind. You need to keep that in your mind. What if you don't like the next one? What if the next one is worse than the one before? What if the generation you skipped to the next one is worse than the previous one? Because look at their cards. Look at this generation that's here now, the 40 series or the 7000 series. Look at how the cards are right now. Do you really get price to performance with any one of them? Really? Do you really get price to performance with every one of them? Any one of them. Any one of the cards. Don't say you do, because you're still jumping back to the 30 series. Or you're jumping back to the 6000 series on AMD side. If you're the one that's jumping back to the previous generation, then obviously you're thinking this generation is not that great. So when you jump this generation, you go to the next generation, what happens if it's worse than the previous generation? What if it's worse? Because if you look down the whole generation of this series, it wasn't that great. It's pretty bad. So if it's pretty bad now, what do you think it's going to be on that next generation? You think it's going to be better? No, it's going to be worse. So you go from worst to worst to worst. The only way they'll get out of that hole is if they do, and AMD, nvidia, understand this. The only way you're going to get out of this hole is if you do an refresh of the whole launch, a refresh, and put more performance to it and drop the prices. That will get people enthused to come back. Up the performance and drop some of the price. And refresh the whole series. And do that all the way to the end of the year. And then next year, start up your next line for your new series. That's the only way you're going to dig out of this hole. And I'm going to be honest with you, in my sense, and I hope y'all hear me, that's my sense. If they upgrade and update the generation they have and give it a total refresh and make it and drop the prices more than what they have now, I mean completely drop the prices and make it more affordable for everybody to be able to buy, then I think they'll have a winner. And then when they go to their next generation, they keep the trend of the refresh going. So this way, everybody's happy. But if they don't, and they just jump to the next generation and expect everybody to pay the high price, you're gonna lose all your gamers. I'm going to tell you that right now. You are going to lose all your gamers. If they see you do that and you jump to that next generation and you keep that same pricing even more, you're going to lose your gamers. They're going to hold on to the cards that they have, and they're just going to tell you ain't going to sell nothing. They're just going to tell you to screw off. Understand that. The only one that's using common sense right now is Intel. And they're slowly building up the cards that they put out and making the drivers better. And as more they make them better, the faster and better the cards become, and that is going to drive consumers to Intel. AMD and nvidia is going to, sooner or later, they're going to price themselves out of the market with the gamers, and Intel's going to take and scoop up the profits. I hate to say that, but that's what it's coming down to. You don't believe me? It's already starting to happen. Everybody's starting to wait for Battle Mage. They're not waiting for the 50 series coming out. They're not waiting for the 8000 series on AMD's side to come out. They're waiting for Battle Mage. And I hear more about Battle Mage than I do NVIDIA and AMD. Because they want to see if Intel's going to crack the market. And if they do crack the market with a low price, guess what? AMD and NVIDIA just got priced out. Everybody's going to run to Intel. So, think about it very carefully. Let's get on with the get on. Okay, so as we see at Micro Center, I gave you a couple new updates. Let you know about the things that are coming out at Micro Center. They got a little bit of a sweetheart deal, that's coming out for the 5600 X3D. Just to let you know. I know it's not a part of Graphics Card Nightmares, but I'm just reminding you, on the 7th, make sure you guys are there opening day. That way you can get your hands on that sweetheart deal. Not sure how many they're going to bring out that day. They might bring it out in little bits, maybe 100 at a time or 50 at a time, and stretch it out for the next 3 to 6 months. It's probably what they're going to do. They're going to estimate 3 to 6 months, and every day estimate how many cards they want to, how many processors they want to bring out per day. Is pretty much what they're probably going to do. So they're going to stretch it out probably 3 to 6 months. So you never know what they got cooking. We'll have to see and wait and see what's going to be happening there. I'm going to see if I can get my way up there so I can get my hands on one, so I can bring it back here to test. I want to test it on my B450 motherboard. I want to test it on the B450 motherboard. That'd be a hell of an improvement on, it's got the Ryzen 5 5600G, but it'd be a hell of an improvement to see what it's going to do next, especially with the graphics card. I want to see what it does with the RTX 4070. See if that rocks it. Now, if the 5600 X3D on a B450 motherboard, the 229 don't look as big as, and I'm just going to say this, let me go ahead and get up out of this. Okay, we're going to go back to the main screen. Okay, I want you all to think about this really carefully. If you get a $79 B450 motherboard, you get a 229 processor, put them together, right? So you're looking at what? $300? $300. $302, $303 for the B450 motherboard and the 5600 X3D. $300. Okay, you add some RAM to it. You spend $60. Get yourself 32 gigs of RAM. So it's $360. You don't need, you can run it with the 750 watt PSU power supply. It's called the PSU. You can run it with the 750 watt. Perfect deal. And if you're on a $1,000 budget, you can get yourself the RTX 4070. Or if you want to go up a little bit higher, you can get yourself an RX 6950 XT. If you want to stay in that back generation and rock it with that, I would imagine it would rock pretty well with that, truthfully. So, either way, you'll have a strong computer that's going to last you for a couple years, even more. So, long as you don't take and abuse and, you don't hammer on it, you keep it, at a decent level, and, you don't benchmark the crap out of your processor, which is not really needed. Because usually your normal, typical, everyday gamer, ones that are out in the world, don't usually sit there and they just don't benchmark after benchmark after benchmark. Not like, a like a YouTube creator does. We'll benchmark the piss out of everything. So, but that's our high. That's how we get our high. It's not so much the gaming, it's so much benchmarking. Gotta love to get the rush of the benchmark to see how high you can get the processor before it cracks. That's usually, taking it to the edge. So, but like I said, if you're thinking about something like that, that could be a sweetheart deal. Especially adding it to your old case. Or if you already got a B550 motherboard, adding it to that. You just got one sitting on the shelf because you went and got an AM5 series. You've upgraded to the next one. You just want something that's up on the side, maybe needed sooner or later. You go and get the 5600 X3D. You tap it in with a good graphics card. I would not recommend going up to a 4080 or a 4090. I would not recommend that. I think there would be more problems with you using a 4080 and a 4090, or even a 4070 Ti. I still think 4070 and below, and on the AMD side, 7900 XT and below. But you can try it with all. I'm not saying that you can't. But I'm just saying for, bottlenecking and everything else, and you want to have perfect gaming and all that, you're best to stay at those kind of numbers. But you can still get good 1080p gaming if you want to do that. You can go all the way down to if you want, you can do a 3080 Ti, or, if you don't want to do the 40 series. 4060 is not too bad. It's not too bad. It's 50-50 with me still. Still about 50-50 with me. So, but anyway, let's get to the conclusion of the nightmare. As we can see, this week compared to last week the prices dropped a little bit more, but I see the prices starting to rise on some of the things, like the RX 6600 series, 6650 and so on. It seems the prices are starting to creep back up. Slowly but surely the prices are starting to come back up. So if you hear that somebody says, oh, the prices are going down, this and that, okay, first, ask them what site you're going to get these awesome prices, and what did you do to get there. Okay? I showed everybody from A to Z, start to end, everything right in front of you, how to get there, what to type in, and everything else. I showed you everything. That's how I get there. That's how the basic consumer gets there. So everybody buys that way. Most of us. Now, if you got a special site to where you can get it cheaper, then go for that site. I'm not saying you have to go off of these sites. Go off any site you want. I'm just giving you a general idea of the fluctuation of the prices from week to week to week. So you can see this week the prices are starting to come up. They're starting to rise. So just to let you know that. But we are at 1 hour and 24 minutes. So I got about maybe 6 more minutes or less to burn to give a couple of my conclusions. I gave you some of my conclusions. Price wise, if you want to know about the 4060, I already made a video about it, and I said that's the last time I'm doing something about the 4060 because there's really nothing else to talk about. Everybody got out there and they said their piece about it. I told you I'm 50-50 about it. If I were to buy it, if I was looking for a low budget card and I had the $300 to burn, probably yes, I would get it. because it's definitely, for a $200 card to go up to that performance, 6 to 7%. I don't know. Is it worth it? Probably not. Will it last a long time since it's a new series? Yeah, it will. Will the drivers be there? Being a new series, will it last for at least 4 to 5 years? Pretty much. Older cards, if you got ones that are 5 to 10 years old, don't expect the drivers to last forever. Once they discontinue it, there'll probably be a year after that, or however the company operates, how they do their driver updates, for their GPUs. They put a stop sooner or later on that GPU once they end of life it. Once they say end of life, and they might go maybe a year after that, maybe. And then after that, they'll give you the last driver for it. They'll say this is the last driver for this card. So that's something to think about. The only reason they haven't been up and hard on these end of lives is because now they mixed mobile laptop drivers and so on with the desktop series. So basically, they're mixing both of them in. So it makes it kind of harder to discontinue a driver for a graphics card unless it's a graphics card that's more than 10 years old. I would imagine, unless they do a refresh and they bring it up to date, that's the only way. But anything that's 10 to 15 years old, you're best off to just take and put it on the shelf, keep it as a souvenir, and go with something better. Now, a lot of people are still rocking the 1660 Supers. They still saying they get great performance with it. So, price to performance, you can get something better than a 1660 Super. So, don't be stuck into that trap to where you think that's the only graphics card in the world that's going to be the best for you. Probably, yeah, it's going to be the best for you because you're not upgrading to anything. So, if you're not upgrading to anything other than that card right there, there are games that are going to start falling off of your list that are not going to be supporting that graphics card. So in order for you to stay on the curve with the supported games with the graphics cards, kind of want to keep an eye on that and see if your graphics card is going to be supported by it. Once they start discontinuing, game makers start discontinuing certain cards, be it you trying to use that certain card for the game, you're going to have a hell of a time using it for the game. Just to say. Me, on the other hand, I want to keep it right down the middle. A card that's right down the middle. I mean, you figure what? You got the, let's see, you got the 4090. Let me do that. You got the 4090, the 4080, the 4070 Ti, and the 4070, right? So that right there is the fourth card. So you got the 3060 Ti 8 gigabytes, 3060 Ti 16 gigabytes, and boom, the 4070. So balance wise, the RTX 4070 is right in the middle. So with that card being right in the middle, if they come out with the 4050, RTX 4050, the spotlight will be right there on the 4070, RTX 4070. And as they upgrade the driver software for the graphics card and improve it and make it better, and better, guess what happens? So does your card. So does the RTX 4070. Goes right along with the rest of them. Just to let you know that. Especially if it's a 40 series card, because they package all the drivers into one. For the whole 40 series, the drivers get packaged all into one, so everybody's using the same drivers, the same software, so there's no difference. So we're all using the same when you buy the 40 series. Just to give you an idea. Okay? So anytime you get upgrades, we all get upgrades. Not just one card, all the 40 series gets upgrades. Even the mobile series gets upgrades. So don't think that the driver is just for one card. Used to be a long time ago, it used to be for one card. And then when they started having multiple series of one card, you have different cards that are multiple in a series. Then they started having multi drivers for one platform. So you got the 40 series platform. All the drivers come to one. Everybody uses the same drivers. So it doesn't matter. You use the same drivers. I use the same drivers. Whole 40 series uses the same damn drivers. So performance wise, it's all on the card. If you want to know the performance of your card, that's what they call the Silicon Lottery. So basically what happens is that everything's on one card. Basically all the drivers and everything else is for one group of cards, which is all 40 series. So if your card performs better than another 4070, then that 4070 you got is the Silicon Lottery. That means you got a better card. That means you got something that boosts higher than the other 4070. So if you got three 4070s and you compare them all, and then you got that one that boosts more than the others, that goes up higher than the others, that does better than the others, guess what? Now you got the Silicon Lottery amongst three video cards. Three 4070s, if you got one great one out of three, and then a second great one out of three, you put it into categories. Which one's the worst to the next one, and then to the best. Worst to the best. Then you know what you got. But anyway, I didn't want to talk you guys' ear off. It looks like I've already talked your ear off already. And, I'm just giving my 2 cents. I love the 4070. NVIDIA did a great job. I don't care what anybody says. They did a great job. Even though the price isn't there. But, in time the price will be there. So be patient with that. And if you bought it for MSRP, then so be it. You bought it for MSRP. In time, these cards are not going to be worth MSRP. So we already know this. So it doesn't matter. You buy it one time, you wait 5 years, then buy another one. So you figure, I spent $100 a year for 5 years. So you spent $100 a year for 5 years. Basically, you got a $100 graphics card. Every year, you get when you get more updates and more updates and more updates with the graphics cards, it's basically like you're getting a refresh of your graphics card. $100, $100, $100, $100, $100. Okay? See the point? That's about what you're getting. Even though it might be 120, 140, 160, if you spend less than $150 a year on a graphics card, or if you spend less than $130 a year on a graphics card, so you take the graphics card, you break it down into 365 days. Okay, so you take that, you break the graphics card down into 5 years, break it down into 365 days, and that'll give you the number. And we'll do that real quick. What we'll do is I'll take you along. Y'all can see this. Okay, so now y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so This is how I figured it out. Okay, got one graphics card at $600. Just say $600, right? Divide that by 5 years. Okay, that's $120 a year. Now take that $120 a year, okay, and take that and divide that by 365 days. Okay, so if you look at it, it's like 3 cents a day to have that graphics card in your system. That's like 3 cents a day. 3 pennies a day to have that in your system. So if you add like maybe like 79 cents to it, then for the usage of electricity and stuff like that, say 79 cents a day, or not 79, say like 29 cents a day. So, you know, so you take 23 cents a day, right? You take your 23 cents a day and use your graphics card for the next 5 years. You spend 23 cents a day every day for the next 5 years, depending on if you're using it that day or not. Because then if you're not using it that day, you can minus that 23 cents off. You know. So the 20 cents. You can take off the 20 cents, leave the 3 cents there because it's divided up into 365 days. So you take 20 cents off for that day, and that's minus 20 cents for that day. So by the time you get up to the 5-year mark, okay, you figure what? Maybe $1,000 in 5 years. Depends on what you want to do. But anyway, I could just tell you that, you know, for me, the way I look at it, my graphics card's only going to cost me 3 cents a day without the electricity included. Because when you get solar, it's a big difference. That more your electricity bills cut down, so that makes a big difference too. So that cuts mine down to like 7 cents a day. So I spend 10 cents a day using my graphics card. 10 cents. And I get great performance. Great FPS. I can't complain. And that's how I look at it. And that's how you should look at it too. So, if you're first time here, make sure you subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And if you've already subscribed and you're new to the channel, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And all my veteran subscribers, thank you for all the love and support you've shown us on the channel. And thank you all for staying to the end and, you know, helping support the channel. So, but until the next time in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.